that are standing up for themselves against this regime, especially when they are pushing back, when other people are folding, whether that be, CBS, or whether that be the talk shows, or whether that be even local press. But if they're doing the right thing, we need to be doing what we can to support them. And I think that is essential to make sure that we do get out of this and can start building that utopian version of things. They can't squash, like they're threatening licenses, and the Trump administration is trying to sue everybody. I heard that he was trying to sue, what was it? Trevor Noah for his joke about trying to pursue Greenland because Epstein Island was no longer available. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't have heard that otherwise. So I'm really glad that he dropped that one out there. But they're going to try to sue their way out of this. What they can't do is try to go after all of the independent newsletters that are out there, the decentralized podcasts, creator-funded journalism, and those folks that are posting across borders, almost like the American radio or free. What is it called? The free, where America was broadcasting in post-Soviet countries.
Hey, it's Greg.
Hey, what's going on?
Patty's still on the air.
Oh, Patty's still on here. Here, let me see if I can get her off here. Something must not have fired on the command that's supposed to take her off. Oh, yeah, that thing's supposed to fire at 5950 here. Are you ready to go on? Can I, give you a minute of commercials that have you go on?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Hold on. I'll play the Refined Vine and Blender, then you'll be on.
Thank you.
Yeah, see ya.
All right.
KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, snow with a low around 30, then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 38. Step into Forts at Children's Theater Company. It's a fort-building wonderland where theatrical elements, evolving light and soundscapes, and towering towers of cardboard boxes set the scene for shared creative play. Forts, now through April 5th at Children's Theater Company. Tickets at childrenstheater.org. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you are in the Twin Cities area, you may have been a little surprised. At least I was surprised by the weather today. I guess I was, and here's the problem, right? That there are now so many weather models that meteorologists throw out there, and this isn't a complaint, it's just a fact, that you get some saying that we're going to get 2 to 4 inches of snow, the other is saying that we're only going to get rain, and it can be very different going across the board here. And today, I think maybe I'm the only one surprised here. Today was a very snowy day, wasn't it? And I don't know if up north got nearly as much as we know outside of Lake Tahoe. Some tragedy struck today, which is very, very unfortunate with that avalanche. But here, I just was like driving home and I'm like, these are blizzard conditions. You can't really see in front of you. The roads are horrible. And it's just a lot of snow coming out. Now looking out the window, I don't see anything really. So we'll see where we're at. I mean, I left the station earlier than I was planning because it's like, I'm going to be on the road all night if I don't get out of here soon enough. And it was surprising for me. I don't know if it was surprising for you. Maybe all had a better idea of how it was going to go. But I was under the impression that today was going to be mainly rain. We'll see what it looks like going on throughout the rest of the week, because I don't think we're quite done yet, are we? It's like a system moving through. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We're Minnesotans, so that's just how it works. We're used to it. It still doesn't mean it's not a pain in the backside, right? It just means that we have to figure out how to make it all work, I suppose. So last night we had a conversation with Lon Strickler talking about Bigfoot sightings during the Civil War. And it was such an interesting person. And once again, I would like to direct your attention to phantomsandmonsters.com, where he's writing content and people's reports and stuff constantly on his blog. And then he does the radio show every Friday night. I had some other stuff I wanted to kind of go through, like sightings that I have heard about that were recorded. But the weird thing is like, if I do that, then what's the point of having Lon on the show, right? And we were able to go in different areas. So I think on Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through some of those Civil War possible sightings of Bigfoot with some of the information that I had part of Casual Friday, because I think they're very interesting. And once again, none of the stuff you can necessarily verify, but it's still something, the kind of the what ifs and stuff like that. I mean, it's all very interesting. So we're going to do that. Beth in the comments, absolutely. Beth says it could be worse. We could be in Duluth. Do you know how much snow they got up there? Because I haven't really looked. I knew that super blizzard conditions up there as well. Just one of those nasty systems running through. I'm going to transport myself to the summer of Beth thinks about 2 feet up there. Wow. 24 inches, huh? Wow. I'm going to transport myself to the summer of 2021, the warm, beautiful weather. That's where I'm going to start, because tonight, what I want to do is I want to talk about my trip out to Gettysburg that I took in 2021, as I wanted to, there's a reason why I went out there. And I was hoping that it would be a very, purposeful trip. And it was. It was absolutely incredible. And the stuff that I had seen with my own eyes really blew me away. And some of it was nowhere near where the battlefields were and stuff. So I want to talk about that tonight. And I also want to ask anyone who's been to Gettysburg, if you want to share anything that happened to you, if you want to, I mean, I don't need you to write a book if you put it into the comments, but if you want to share some of this, if you've had any paranormal stuff happen to you, I'd love to have that in there as well. I know a number of people obviously have gone out to Gettysburg over the years, and I still think that this is probably my top 2 favorite paranormal locations, let alone the fact that Gettysburg it's still a functioning town. There are other historic towns that you go to, and it's you're walking up and down Main Street, it's nothing but like selling t-shirts and stuff about the town, selling merchandise and stuff, which is fine. I mean, you gotta support your town. You gotta have be able to survive, right? But in Gettysburg, it just felt like that this is still just a town that is that lived through the Civil War, I guess. And for those who are interested and may not know off the top of their head, the Battle of Gettysburg, it happened July 1st through 3rd in 1863. And so I went out to Gettysburg on July 1st through 3rd, 2021. And I was invited out there by, we've had him on the program before, John B. Cushman. John has the Civil War Museum in Virginia. And I've been there a number of times. Matter of fact, the first time I ever been there was on this trip, extended my trip to go out there. But he does this thing called Dinner with the Ghosts, and he was having one. He was having a event out at Gettysburg, and we stayed in contact. He's such a nice guy. We stayed in contact for years, and he was telling me about this, and I'm like, I've always wanted to come out to Gettysburg. And he said to me, if you want to come out here, you're more than welcome to come on out and take part in Dinner with the Ghost. You're more than welcome to take part in in helping with the event. And the way that those events work is if you are a person going, taking part in the event, buying a ticket, you come into a haunted location, this incredibly set up room, massive long dinner table that you sit at, and it's incredibly decorated. It's the work that these people put into it to get set up for people to show up just for the dinner portion is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's very impressive. And then they cook a very, very good meal. And at the head of the table is an empty chair, high back chair. And that is where in parentheses, the ghost sits. And there's equipment around there, and they get served a meal just like everyone else. And part of that is that you end up like seeing if there's any activity at the head of the table that night. It's as simple as that. And so it's a very unique event, and the way that they do it is very involved. It's a very involved event. When the dinner portion is over, and you get I think like a soup salad course, and you get a main course, and then you get a dessert. When that's all over, then there's an investigation. And this took place in Gettysburg at Inn at Air Ridge. And that used to be a number of things, one being a Civil War hospital, but it was also a Confederate headquarters. It was, obviously history being a big part of every inch of that location. And this was something where I ended up driving out to Gettysburg because, first of all, it was summer. And it just seemed to make more sense to do so. I had time on my hands during this period of time where I was able to really kind of travel and just kind of indulge a little bit more than I would be able to now. which was great. I'm glad I took advantage of it. And I think one of the most beautiful drives I've ever taken was from the Twin Cities to Gettysburg. And once you get into the east side of the United States, the states are smaller, and to get where you need to go, you're crossing over into states like rapidly. Like I'm sure those of you who have traveled the way that I have, like I'm describing, you probably have experienced the fact that you're driving and you don't know what state you're in because you're moving through them so quickly, because you're driving through points where the states are converging. So it's not like I'm driving for 7 hours. I'm like, I don't know where I am. It's just like within a matter of like an hour, you see yourself going over a bunch of state lines and stuff. And you're like, I really don't know. I don't know where I am, and that's totally fine. But I mean, that was part of it. And once you start getting into the Pennsylvania area, when you start getting over in like the Gettysburg area and in the areas around it, you can feel and you can see that there is a huge change in every aspect of the drive. And that being that, the roads are different. The way that they're the length of the roads, or excuse me, the width of the roads, they're different. Just the architecture, the houses, you immediately know that you are looking at houses that are old. And I mean, right away, part of me is like, why do I have to drive? Because I would love to just stare out the window every inch of the way, because it's so beautiful and it's such a beautiful time of year. And we're driving all around through this, and you know that you're driving through history. You know that you're driving through areas that very possibly armies have marched through, and that the kind of the fate of this country was being played out in those areas. So when I get out to Gettysburg, and I planned this beforehand because I didn't want to stay at a hotel. And I thought, why not get an Airbnb? So I'm looking through Airbnbs at or around Gettysburg, and I find one. And this place was built in 1855. I mean, before the Civil War. And it's this, like, not brick, but rock cabin, basically. And I thought, that's a good idea. I'd love to stay in an old place. It sounds like a great idea. It sounds like a real smart thing to do. And so it was, and it wasn't. I get to this place, and we talk about how you can, even from the outside, you can feel that something isn't right. And the moment I walk into this place, the moment that I am walk in the front door, which if you take Shars in my class, the first thing we tell people always is when you walk in, say hello to spirits. I walk in, and I am immediately not welcome there. And I want to talk about that, because I have seen and I have heard stuff in that house alone that I've never seen or heard anywhere else. And I really want to tell you, because this is what ghost stories are made of. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk about shadow figures, wisps of smoke, energy, noises, energy repelling you. That's just in the house I stayed in. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are. But now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. Now, I think some of you are probably wondering, Wednesday nights, at least every other Wednesday night, we have Refined Divine on doing one-question readings. And she is taking a little bit of a break at the moment from coming on doing lives in general. And we certainly miss her. And hopefully that we're going to be able to have one-question readings with her again soon. But I do want to let you all know that she is still doing the fairs and stuff. And in fact, she's going to be doing a Refined Divine Holistic Expo in Green Bay this weekend, February 21st, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's going to be at the Ashwa Benan bowling alley. And I'm sure I've screwed that up. But it's going to be there. Go to Refined Divine on Facebook. You're going to find information there, or go to refineddivinepsychic.com. You're going to be able to find the information that you need to go there, because it's worth going to. They're great fairs, great energy. This one's in Green Bay, so you get to go over to Wisconsin. So check it out. And if you go there, please let her know that you heard about it through us. I'd greatly appreciate it. Tonight, we are talking about Gettysburg. We're talking about my experiences at Gettysburg, and where I left off was the place I was staying. Remember, I said that this place was built in 1855. And the moment I walked into this cabin, which was actually fairly spacious, really, and in the inside had been redone and whatnot, the energy right away was, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. And I have no way to verify this, but I would guarantee, if I could guarantee such a thing, that this was actually Confederate folks who did not want a Union person coming into their house. That's kind of the way I looked at it. And places don't freak me out very often, but this one had nothing around it. It wasn't in a neighborhood. It was just trees and stuff around it. It was actually on a golf course and a whole golf resort, actually. But all that was far away. You were pretty much by yourself in this situation. It had electricity. It was a very sort of, I don't know, you just felt like you're by yourself and that you were completely stranded. And so you get inside there, and I remember I needed to go, once I got there, I wanted to go and get some dinner. The first night I was there, I was there the day before the actual event happened. And I I'm heading out, and when you walk into the house, immediately to your right would be the kitchen. To your left would be the living room, family room, whatever, and then just beyond that a little bit the stairs to go upstairs. And then actually, I believe right in front of me when I walked in would be the stairs to go downstairs. Oh, I'm getting real chills just even talking about this. So when I went out to get dinner, it was still light out. I mean, it was, summer. I remember just looking at the kitchen, and I just was like, what is that? And I look, and in the kitchen, this singular sort of column of mist. And it's not thick. It's just moving through the kitchen. It's just moving. And it's like, oh my God, what is that? It's incredible. And so I'm just like, okay. And I just watch it. And I know that there's going to be investigators out there who are like, well, did you start getting out equipment? Did you start, talking to it, whatever? No. And one of the reasons is that I want to sometimes just experience it. And there is a part of me, this is the stuff that we look for, but there's a part of me that's like, this cannot be. It's just a singular column of mist just moving around. There is no explanation for it. And it was like moving around the furniture, not through it. And, and then I just left. I needed to get out of there. Going upstairs to the bedrooms where you're supposed to stay was pretty much like walking up the stairs and feeling like someone is like covering your face with a pillow. Did not want me up there. Did not want me up there. And it did rattle me a bit because this was very strong, there is absolutely no one to really talk to about stuff. And when I got back, I did a FaceTime with a girl I was seeing at the time, lived in another state, and we're talking and stuff. And while we're talking, I'm noticing in front of me a shadow moved right in front of me, like behind my computer or whatever. It just moved right in front of me. And I'm like, whoa. And I look at the screen, and the look on her face, which she wouldn't have been able to see the shadow, the look on her face was just absolute shock. Her eyes were massive. Her eyes were big. She was just staring. And I said to her, what did you see? And she's like, nothing. Like, you saw something. What did you see? And she's like, nothing. I'm like, please, can you tell me what you saw? Because I need to know. She's like, there's a figure that walked directly behind you. Now, this is the thing, folks, if you're paying attention. Whatever it was cast a shadow in front of me. And it's possible that it could have been two, but I think it's I think it was the shadow, because I saw a shadow. It was at the exact same time. She saw it, and I saw the shadow of it going against the wall in front of me. And that was actually fairly frightening, because it was like, what is this? I mean, for something, because, and also there was a light let's see if I have this right. Yeah, it'd be a light behind me. So yes, whatever it was would have walked behind, hit the light, and would have created a shadow. And that wasn't great. That was, you want this stuff, but when you're in the place by yourself, and here's the thing, folks, I'm out there for an event. I'm out there to try to get to spirit and whatnot. I think it's not unreasonable to be like, when I'm done with that stuff, I don't necessarily want to return to more of it when I need to rest, because these things keep you going up all night. And so it was very frightening, just because I didn't know what it was. I sure the hell did not want to sleep upstairs because it was it's probably the most oppressive place I've ever been in my entire life. So I go downstairs, which you might think, well, that doesn't sound like a wise idea. It had a TV, and I was able to get my Hulu account. I remember, and I was able to move the couch so I could sleep on the couch and have American Dad on all night, just because I didn't want to deal with it. Quite honestly, I just didn't want to deal with it. And it's one thing if it felt friendly. There was nothing about this that felt friendly. I left for a day and I left my recorder out and set to, like, if any sounds happened, to record that. There really wasn't anything from that. But I was just like, this is a lot. This is a lot to take in. So then that night is the Dinner with a Ghost event. And so I go out to Inn at Air Ridge, which is where this event is taking place. And I've talked to John many a times, but I was able to meet him in person, and I met his wonderful wife, and I was kind of helping them a little bit, but they didn't need my help. I mean, something as big as that is going to kind of run as like a military operation. So I didn't need to do that. I ended up meeting some people there that are really cool. And then I met some people there that were, kind of lame, that they do their own ghost tour stuff. And it's, they don't do it very well, quite frankly. And so we did the event and the Dinner with the Ghost, and a lot of activity happened at the table, especially at the big chair that had where the ghost, the guest of honor ghost, the ghost of honor, I suppose, sat, which was really kind of fun. But then they allowed us to go about and break up into groups and do an investigation with the attendees. And that was great. So I'm with a group, and this is led by the guy who runs this other ghost tour place over on the East Coast. And the way that I run events, and this had nothing to do with John, because if John was there, he would have agreed with me. The way this guy runs it, he just kind of sits around. I'm like, yeah, just do what you need to do. And so there's this guy at the table who had a spirit box going, and he's just like asking questions, not getting any response. The energy was very low. And anyone who does these sort of events or investigations know that you need to bring up the energy to be able to get responses. If you come there as if you're not interested in talking to them, they're not going to talk to you, which is ridiculous because we are in Gettysburg. Of course you want to talk to these people. So I went up to the guy who was kind of running this little group, and it was like a room off to the side. And I said to him, listen, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a spirit box session over here. And if anyone wants to join me, they can. But I just feel like I'm going to be able to get some responses over here. And the guy is just like, sure, whatever. I'm a newbie to their little community, and he's not impressed, and that's fine. And I go in there, and I start my spirit box, and I start doing my thing. And right away, you start getting responses. Right away, you start getting intelligent responses. You start getting people coming into my room where I'm doing things because I could see things are happening. Amongst them is REM pod activity going crazy. The REM pod, I had 2 REM pods set up, and those are the little circular, silical devices that has like 4 to 5 lights on top and an antenna. If you go near the antenna, lights start going off on it and starts making noises. I had 2 of them, one not really saying anything and the other going absolutely berserk. And so the one that is going absolutely berserk, I'm thinking, well, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's a battery issue because, maybe the battery's going on it and it's just kind of screaming, its last breath as a battery. So I go up to the REM pods and I'm just like, okay, if there is somebody truly trying to, that's manipulating this, I'm going to turn this off, and I want you to do exactly what you're doing on this device over to this one, which is the other one I'm pointing to, which is the other one I have going on that has not gone off the entire night. So I turn that off. Suddenly, the one that hadn't been going at all starts doing exactly the same thing that the other one was doing, just going crazy. And that was fantastic. And there's a point that we turn it off. And we turned it off and we're talking. And at this point, we have virtually, we were split up into like 3 different groups. Nobody else was getting any sort of responses throughout the building, except I was in that room. And by the time we were done, everybody was in that room, which unfortunately suffocates the investigation, and all activity stopped. So I don't blame them from coming there. And it was kind of, it boosted my ego that my room was the one that was getting all these people. But before everyone else turned up, we were in that room, we're talking to Spirit. All of a sudden we hear a cannon go off, a loud cannon. I wasn't sure if it was thunder at first, but there was no thunderstorms anywhere. We had people outside our window who were out there smoking, and we found them and we said, "Hey, did someone just shoot a cannon out here?" I mean, it's Gettysburg, right? I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable to think that someone might just be doing such a thing. I don't know how that works. It's late at night though. They're like, "We heard nothing. Heard nothing. We heard a cannon go off, and you were on the other side of the wall outside, and you did not hear a thing. You did not hear the cannon going off." No, we didn't. It's insane. Absolutely insane. What an incredible piece of just, call it evidence, call it just hearing, whatever. I mean, that is incredible. And we got so many incredible Spirit Box responses of different people who, I mean, I don't know who they're, but they were giving like what their rank was in the Army. They were telling us who they were. Captain this, Sergeant that. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And, it was like, once again, that whole session started off with people who just didn't seem to care. And they weren't saying anything. There was so low energy. And it's like, no, I'm not driving out to Gettysburg to listen to someone who doesn't know how to use the Spirit Box, not care about the information that they're getting, not caring about the people who attended this event. No, I want to try to get people involved as much as I possibly can. And that's when I, went to the other room, and we got tremendous results. After everything died down, I went to, and I thought the event was over, so I went in another room that I hadn't been in at all, and I sat down, and I didn't think anybody was really still around me in terms of like living, and I turned on my Spirit Box. I wanted to try to see. I said, "Hey, this is I know that this is a Confederate headquarters, and I just want to kind of say that I am from Minnesota. I am a Union, and I was just able to walk in here without anybody stopping me whatsoever. What do you say about that?" And through the box at that moment, somebody swore at me, and I'm not going to say what it was. I'm not even going to give you the initials, only because we're on the air. You can imagine. It was insane. And I look up and there's like 3 people watching me. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't do that. Afterwards, John said to me, because we met a friend Christy and then Aaron, and John's like, "You guys got to take Greg to the battlefields." And I'm like, "It's 2:30 in the morning. Aren't they closed?" And he just looks at Christy and Aaron and goes, "You got to take Greg to the battlefields." And that's kind of what happened next. After we were done with our event, it was after 2 a.m. The night wasn't over because we needed to do more. And I invite you to sit here and listen. When I come back, we're going to talk about what happened at the battlefields of Gettysburg. and why this is such an important and wonderful place to just understand history. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursions to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to do a replay from July of 2025, where we are going to replay one of our episodes with Deb, Refined Divine, one of her experiences episodes, because remember we do the one question readings, and then we also do some episodes we bring her on. She shares some of her experiences. We're going to be talking about the awakening process. It's a great episode. These are really good to listen to because you're going to learn something about them. And hopefully when you do that, if it doesn't, even if it kind of jogs something within you, just keep in mind that you could take classes from her that actually will kind of develop that even further. And that's going to be over at refineddivinepsychic.com. You want to go check that out. We are talking about Gettysburg tonight, and we're talking about kind of my ghost adventures out there, if you will. And we're just talking about the event that I took part in at Air Ridge, which is just a fascinating place. And it was really such a great experience. And, like I said, it was after 2 a.m. now. And John is telling Christy and Aaron, you gotta take Greg out to the battlefields. And I am not one to generally want to go to places that are closed because they were closed. The thing is that, and it doesn't make it any better. The thing is that there's no open and close gates to them. So, we did go in, we drove in. It is one of the most eerie things ever to go into those battlefields when it is dark. It had rained, but there was no thunderstorm because I checked that. It was a cannonball that we heard.
But the rain had stopped, and it was just eerie because it was so silent. We got out of the car. It's just silent. Absolutely nothing. You know, I'm so tempted to say dead silent, but that's just ridiculous, right? Just sitting and all of those specialized like fences that have like the wood. You know what I'm talking about. You saw them, like they're just the way that the wood are for these fences. I mean, that are very much, you know, adjacent to those battlefields. Knowing that you are literally feet away from where Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address. You know, this is stuff that is absolutely incredible. And we're just sitting there. It's clear. And we look over, and there's a small hill. If we kept going, we'd drive up a small hill. We see coming down the hill this, I don't know, this like layer of fog that looks to be no more than maybe a foot off the ground. And it just it perfectly follows the hill down. It doesn't like even out as it goes over the hill. It follows the hill down, and it's coming right for us. And you could see it's not very tall at all. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you are enveloped in fog. Like it's everywhere, and it's thick. It is thick fog that came out of nowhere. You see it coming, but it just looks like just this idea of seeing fog that is about a foot high, just perfectly rolling down the hill, is eerie enough. I don't know. Has anyone else ever seen anything like that? I've never seen anything like that before or since. And then the idea that you are completely surrounded by it, to the point is like, I'm worried to be on this dirt road because if another car comes through here, they're not going to see us. They're going to hit us. I mean, it's 2:30 in the morning. The idea of that happening seems to be fairly thin, but at the same time, we didn't listen to the rules. It is incredible. And then it's gone. It comes in, envelops us for maybe 5 minutes or so, and then it's gone. And it's, once again, there is that beautiful eeriness about those battlefields that are just incredible. And so anyone who's not been to the battlefields, they have roads in there that you can drive around, and areas that are kind of chasms that you don't go into, a lot of monuments. So we're driving around, and Aaron, who is driving, and I don't blame him, gets freaked out a couple times because there are just statues off the road that if you're just not knowing, it just looks like somebody is standing there. You know, just standing there. And it's, you know, so it's off-putting. We did some spirit box stuff out there. We did some EVPs. We got some stuff out there. But the one thing that I'm always going to remember is, you ever been outside when it's cloudy and it actually looks kind of light out? Like there's like a light somewhere, or if there are lights, maybe it's reflecting off the clouds, and it makes everything else around it in front of it like a silhouette. That is what was going on. And so we're sitting out there, we're looking out there, and it's like these silhouettes, and the calm is just, I don't want to say it's unnerving because I wasn't unnerved by it. It's actually the opposite. It was beautiful. For a place that there's of such destruction, such, huge amounts of death, murder. I mean, the energy has to be horrific there. But here we were, and it was just silent. all those years later, 160 years later, here we are of the night of the battle. Because remember, I went on the anniversary of the battle. That was the time that the battle happened. I was there, and it was just silent. And I keep driving this home because I still can't get over that feeling. I've only a few places ever felt that. Beth in the comments says, do you think it was troops? I wonder about that. I mean, apart from it engulfing us, I don't think there was really anything else that happened to us with that. But the way that it was going down that hill, that did feel like it was troops. I don't know. I mean, it's I kind of thought that too over time, and those are visuals that will never leave me. I mean, there's houses around the area that people are living in. And I don't mean like new development. These are houses back from the day, and that they're I would think one was occupied by people who just live there. There's other ones that are, part of the historical makeup of it. And, once again, I have to tell you all that there are, I think I've read that there are like 1,300 monuments, memorials, markers, and statues spread across the battlefield. And that's something that if you ever have the opportunity to do so, take a look at look up that, because it's so interesting. Some of them are massive. I always do art for my shows every night, and there's one that I took a picture of, and that's the Pennsylvania State Memorial. And it's the largest of all the monuments on the battlefield, and you can actually climb up it. There's stairwells in there, and there's a balcony that you can look over the entire battlefield. And we drove, all around to different parts the best we could of some of the battlefield at night. But one we didn't get out of was Devil's Den in the battlefield, and partially that is because and not because there's a lot of paranormal that's related to that area, but more so because it's rock and it's boulders, and you got to be careful at that time of night where you are walking around, because one slip could be a real problem. And you just wonder too how many because I told you there's these chasms where people just can't walk around in. I mean, you can't really get to them. How much is there that has been left to time? Is it a matter of just like just pieces of metal or bullets or whatever else? I'm certainly not necessarily thinking that it's human matter still out there or whatever, but what is it out there that that just has been left to time? It's incredible, and it's really something. I mean, it just really is something out there. The next night, actually, because while we're at Air Ridge, one of the attendees, a lady and her husband, they're staying at a house inside Gettysburg, inside the town there, one of the old houses, and she's like, "Can you guys come over and investigate this house?" And we're like, yeah, we can actually. And so we came out that night, and we did that next night, and we did a small investigation of the house, and it didn't really yield a whole lot. I had a REM pod set up in the kitchen, and that went off a couple times. Surprisingly, not a whole lot came out of it. But, once again, though, we were able to get into an old property in Gettysburg that's not one of the one of the historical places that you can go to and whatnot. It was just absolutely incredible, really fun. Nancy says in the comments regarding what's in those chasms and whatnot, if there's anything left behind, she says there probably is. I would agree with you. I mean, how can't there be? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know, people sneak and go down there, whatever. I wouldn't be doing that personally. Getting in there was enough for me. And I call that good. Yeah, it's quite the location. I hear people always say, when I say I was at Gettysburg, they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get out there. Find a way to do it. Find a way to do it. The next couple days, we went out to the battlefields during the day when it was legal. It was great, but not as great as at night. And I'm not telling you to go out there at night. Believe me, I'm not. But I'm going to tell you the truth. It was really cool being out there. It was really cool being out there during the day and seeing in the sunlight and seeing all these, memorials and not think they're going to move on you. But at night was special. And it was pretty cool. And that was neat. I hope you enjoyed this. I love telling that story. Once again, tomorrow is going to be Refined Divine. When I come back on Friday, and I'm going to be doing Casual Friday by myself, I am going to be talking a little bit more about Bigfoot sightings in during the Civil War. Like I said at the start, I have some that I want to read. And it felt like if I were just to read them when Lon was on the program, it's like, well, that would have done Lon an injustice. And as we heard, he was absolutely fantastic. Really, that story about his Bigfoot encounter was insane. If you haven't heard last night's episode, go check it out on Spotify or am950radio.com or on YouTube. Really worth checking out. That was incredible. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I love telling this story. It's going to be in my mind forever. Everyone, tomorrow, replay with Deb, Casual Friday. I hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.